You're listening to Swift News, your daily news briefing in just 10 minutes. This is episode 15, and it's May 18th, 2025. Let's get into today's stories.
Right, and today we're covering quite a range. Everything from global politics and economics to, well, even Wordle. It's a quick look at what's moving and shaking.
Okay, let's dive in. First up, global politics and trade. India at the G20 summit in Delhi. They're pushing for changes, especially on tariffs.
Yeah, that's right. They're concerned about these ongoing tariff wars, basically. India is making a case for reforming the global trade rules to create a more stable system.
And what does that mean for, people listening, for international exports?
Well, if they succeed, it could mean less uncertainty, fewer sudden price hikes on imported goods, perhaps. But for businesses, it's about predictability, which, helps planning and could eventually benefit consumers, too.
Okay. Staying international, Turkey and Syria. Erdogan met with Syria's interim leader about refugees returning. That sounds like a pretty big shift.
It is, potentially. Discussing the return of refugees on this scale, it signals a change in regional dynamics. How it plays out could really affect stability, aid, maybe even migration further afield.
Something to watch. Now, resources. Chile's President Boric announced a lithium plan focused on batteries.
Exactly. Lithium is crucial, as you know, for batteries, phones, EVs, everything. Chile has tons of it.
Right.
So this plan to ramp up mining and export batteries, it's a strategic move, tapping into that huge global demand.
And that could mean
Potentially influencing the cost and availability of batteries worldwide. Maybe cheaper EVs or better energy storage down the line for you.
Got it. On a tougher note, Mali's junta banning foreign NGOs. That sounds worrying for aid delivery.
It definitely raises concerns. These NGOs often provide essential services. Banning them puts immediate pressure on humanitarian efforts there. And, well, it highlights the broader challenges of aid work in politically unstable zones.
Yeah, a difficult situation. Okay, let's pivot to business and the economy. India's Sensex dropped 400 points. Global funds pulling out, linked to those tariff talks we mentioned?
It seems partly linked, yes. It shows how connected everything is. Uncertainty about trade rules can make international investors nervous, and they might pull money out, causing market dips like this.
So even if it's the Indian market, it reflects a wider global sentiment?
Precisely. It's a reminder for anyone with investments that global economic jitters, like those around trade, can ripple outwards.
Okay. And a huge move in e-commerce reliance buying a 60% stake in Flipkart. Wow.
Yeah, that's massive. A real shakeup for online shopping, particularly in India.
What could that mean for consumers, for you shopping online?
Well, you've got two giants potentially integrating. It could lead to more intense competition, maybe different deals, new services. The whole landscape could shift. Could be good for choice and price, potentially.
Interesting. Then there's Siemens in Germany reporting lower profits, blaming a slowdown in China.
Right, a 10% dip. Siemens is a global industrial player, so their results are kind of a bellwether. It shows how China's economic pace impacts manufacturers everywhere.
So a slowdown there means?
It can ripple through supply chains, maybe affect tech imports or the availability of certain industrial goods. It's all connected.
Okay, but some positive news on the resources front. Brazil's Vale is boosting iron ore production.
Yes, that's the plan. More iron ore supply usually pushes down steel prices.
Which is good for?
Construction, manufacturing, lots of things. Anything using steel could become cheaper to make, which might eventually mean slightly lower prices for you on certain goods or slower increases in building costs.
All right, let's shift gears completely. Sports. Big night for cricket fans.
Absolutely. The IPL 2025 final in Ahmedabad tonight. Royal Challengers Bengaluru taking on Rajasthan Royals. Huge event.
And in football, the Premier League.
Manchester United got a win, 1-0 against Chelsea. Helps them climb up the table a bit. Always tight competition there.
Over in the U.S., NBA playoffs.
The Denver Nuggets are through after beating the Thunder. They're set to play the Lakers next. That'll be a series lots of people will tune in for.
Definitely. And table tennis.
Good news for India there. Manika Batra reached the World Table Tennis quarterfinals in Macau. Strong performance.
Great. Okay, quick hits on entertainment and culture. Wordle.
Still going strong. Wordle, hashtag 1429 was apparently GLINT. A bit tricky with that consonant blend, folks online were saying.
Keeps people thinking. And The White Lotus.
Season 4 trailer is out, set in Iceland this time, generating a lot of buzz, as usual for that show.
People love it. What about music? Diljit Dosanjh.
His Dilluminati tour added a Mumbai show, and it sold out almost instantly. Shows his Massive popularity, really.
Incredible. And the New York Times Connections puzzle.
Also trending, hashtag 707 had an emotions theme, apparently. People really seem to enjoy those category puzzles, too.
They do. Okay, turning to environment and science. Delhi's air quality. Yeah, not good news there. Reached severe levels, AQI around 410. They've had to close schools. It's a stark reminder of the health risks in major cities.
Really serious stuff. But on a more positive science note, an HIV breakthrough.
Some promising early results, yes. A new gene editing tool seems to cut HIV viral loads in trials. It's still early days, but potentially a big step forward for treatment.
That's fantastic news. Hopeful. Less positive, Mount Merapi in Indonesia.
It erupted, yes. Caused flight cancellations in Bali. A reminder of how volcanic activity can disrupt travel and, of course, impact local communities.
Right. And finally, space. NASA's Europa Clipper.
Some really exciting findings. It detected possible water plumes coming from Jupiter's moon Europa.
Water plumes. Why is that so significant?
Well, plumes suggest there's likely a liquid water ocean under the ice. And where there's liquid water, there's the possibility of life. Plus, plumes would let us sample that ocean without drilling. It's pretty thrilling for planetary science.
Wow. Okay, let's wrap up with some human stories. A leopard attack in Mysuru, India. Yes, unfortunately, 2 people were injured. It led to increased forest patrols. It just highlights that ongoing tension between human settlements and wildlife habitats.
A difficult balance. But some inspiring news, too. A Ghanaian teenager won an award.
Yes, a global tech prize for designing a low-cost prosthetic arm. Amazing ingenuity from someone so young, using tech to solve a real problem.
That's wonderful. And in the U.S., Detroit's urban farms.
Making a real difference. The initiative is now providing food for about 2,000 families, helping tackle food insecurity right there in the city. A great community effort.
Really positive. And one more, a Rohingya scholar.
Yes, a refugee in Bangladesh received a UN scholarship for coding. It's a story about resilience, isn't it? And how crucial education and opportunity are, especially in tough circumstances.
Absolutely. So quite the mix today. Global trade tensions, market jitters, sports finals, scientific discoveries, environmental challenges, and some really powerful human stories, too.
Yeah, it really covers the spectrum, from the big geopolitical shifts down to, local community actions and individual achievements. Shows how interconnected everything is.
You've been listening to Swift News, bringing you a snapshot of the day's important stories in just about 10 minutes. Join us tomorrow for another briefing to stay informed. This is Swift News, signing off.